Thanks to the support as a channel member, Rob Harley. We're going to pretend the playoffs never happened and just talk about what a good season we just had. 7th place in the National League in our first season at that level with the only part-time club in the league. That's all good stuff. We now go into the summer transfer window, knowing that my contract expires in just over a month. I haven't yet been offered a new one. We don't know what ground we're going to be playing at. We don't know if we're going to get the training facilities we need. We're £500,000 in debt. And, yeah, we're struggling a little. So this one could go in all manner of different directions. What I do know is you're not going to want to miss it. Hello and welcome to part 27 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special at the end of season 3 with Peterborough Sports, which, as you can see, is a season that ended trophyless. Much sadness. We'll go for our season review first, and then we'll come up with a plan and get some transfers done. Signing of the season was Francis Okoronkwo, and I don't think anyone could possibly argue with that. Came in on a free transfer from Everton, 26 goals in 33 starts, 6 assists as well, a 7.38. Genuinely think was probably the difference between us actually getting into the playoffs and bombing out of them the way we did. As soon as we lost him for the playoffs, we lost any opportunity we had. He was pretty much responsible for our run of 6 wins we had that got us into the playoffs in the first place. And as soon as he was out of the team, we forgot how to score goals. Kind of irreplaceable at the moment. Flynn Clark also came in, did a very good job as part of the attack for creative force for us. Kwanzaa and Bennett as a centre-back partnership has been very good as well. And then, I mean, there was a lot of good signings last summer. Morris, Stewart, Levy. I would say all of them I'd consider as good signings that we'd like to keep around. Evans, Leeson. And then you get into the panic buys as the season went on, the likes of Payne, Nichols, Griffiths, who was a panic midfielder because we didn't really have a DM. These ones, not so much. These are the kind of guys we're going to be looking to replace. But if we can bring in another 7 or 8 players of the quality of the 7 or 8 good ones we brought in last summer, we're going to be very happy. The only problem, of course, is it did take us 10 matches to bed them all in because so many came in one go. So that's probably going to happen again. The board, though, wanted us to attempt to avoid relegation from the National League. We did much better than that. We finished 7th. Quite the gap behind us and the big 6 as well, who were actually in a race for automatic promotion. So I think if you look at the league table on that basis, we were never really realistically in with a chance of winning those playoffs. Bromley, who finished 2nd, finished 17 points ahead of us. We were never going to beat them in the playoffs. It is nice after their fans picked on me on Twitter a few weeks back, though, to see that Oldham got relegated to the National League North. Hi, Oldham fans. How you doing? Don't pick on Kev. He doesn't forget. We don't need to look at that one. Let's not worry about that page. Finances are a mess. We know finances are a mess. Reassuringly, a few of these things are up, but not up close to enough to stop us from hemorrhaging money. We're now over £500,000 in debt, and none of these numbers are close to £500,000. So I think our only hope is a takeover or an FA Cup run. And neither of them are likely to happen during this episode. So I think we might be in for a 2nd consecutive budget decrease this summer. Sewell sells more shirts than Okoronkwo, which is a bit surprising. But on the whole, no real surprise about who's selling the most shirts. And this was our team of the year. Do I agree with it? Pretty much. Marshall in goal, a back four of Stewart, Bennett, Kwanzaa and Leeson. Evans behind Cisse and Hinchy. Cluck behind Okoronkwo and Sewell. That looks about right to me. Right, we've got the accolades and stuff as well. So we already know that Okoronkwo won Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, Signing of the Year, top goal scorer, most man of the matches, and highest average rating. Safe to say, he was quite good. The only other player who won an award, Levy got top assists with 10, McKnight got goal of the season, and we didn't break any of our club records or any of that other stuff either. This is a dynamic manager timeline. It's really dynamic. Love it. And this is our all-time best 11, most of which are still at the club. So we're not going to worry too much about checking in with these guys to see what they're up to. One thing people do ask is what Manish is up to. We've not really mentioned since season 1 when he legged it to Portugal because he wasn't going to get a work permit. He has now retired. Manish is no longer part of this world, and I'm very sad about it. We've somehow lost social media followers this year. How do you get promoted to a higher league and lose 10% of your social media following? What on earth has our Twitter guy been doing? hideous. But we have had more fans convert to be core fans rather than fair weather. So the fans who are fans are now more committed, probably because we've moved to Histon. So, you know, you've got to be a bit more committed to drive all the way to Histon to watch this. What we really need is just more fans in general. Only 233 season ticket holders is a problem for a club in the National League, and it's going to consistently be a problem because we're always going to struggle for money. We need a sugar daddy to come in, and I think the chances of us getting one are quite slim. The fans would just be looking for us to avoid relegation again. The board are also... Oh, no, the board are looking for us to finish in the top half and repair the club's financial damage. Why is that on me? I've stuck within my budget all the way through this save. I don't see how it's on me to repair the club's financial damage. You repair the club's financial damage. They are looking to build a new stadium. This is interesting. So they don't want me to sign old men. This stuff is all fine. They basically want me to work within a wage budget, somehow magically fix the finances whilst getting promoted to League Two within 3 years. Meanwhile, they're going to build me a new ground, which is going to cause even more financial problems. Thanks, board. Yikes. Maybe it is time to move on. We've got no team leaders. We'll just tell the lads that we're going to finish in the top half, and they're fine with that, which is good. And I haven't even been given a contract yet, actually. Here's me agreeing the objectives for next season. It's all well and good me agreeing the objectives for next season. As it stands right now, I'm gone in a month. My contract is up at the end of June. So I squeeze in a quick coaching course before I go. They're not going to give me it because we've got no money. But I would quite like a new No, there you go. Wow. Okay, so we're getting the budgets and we are getting a new stadium. Again, my priority, this is all great. My priority would be a contract for me, though. If that could be arranged, please. Budgets-wise, it is another budget reduction. It's only a slight one, but we are working with even less money again for the second season in a row. And the new stadium, we know nothing about other than the fact it's going to be in Peterborough. And they're looking to relocate us back to the home city of Peterborough. But we know nothing yet. We don't have a capacity, a location, anything like that in mind. And presumably financing is going to need to be sourced as well. In fact, it says there, searching possible sites and potential investors as well. So they're aware that we want a new stadium, but we're a long way away from actually being ready to do it. We're searching for a site for a 4,000 capacity stadium, a 4,000 capacity all-seater. That's going to be a few years away. I suspect I'll have left the club before they build that stadium, which is fair because I imagine, based on the club legends, they're going to call it the Jimmy Dean Stadium, and that is a bit of a slight against me as the current manager if they name it after my predecessor, who is now out of work again, having been sacked by Maidenhead. He'll probably come back when I leave. Can I have that new contract now, please? A couple more days have passed, still no sign of a new contract, but it has occurred to me I can ask for one. Now, this is going to be quite a pivotal moment for the series, because if they say no, I am going to look for another job, because that's exactly what I do in real life. My contract is up in 6-8 weeks' time. If they're not going to extend it, then I need to go and find a job somewhere else because I have bills to pay. I think if the contract expires, you just go on a month-to-month contract. Again, in real life, I'm not interested in a month-to-month contract. I want a long-term contract. I don't want something they can terminate at any moment without any compensation. So this is a big moment. I think they are going to give me the contracts. We have been overperforming, but you never know. So new contract. They're getting back to me shortly. This is a worry. Can we get back to me quickly? The financial position of the club at present is unstable and there's no one is getting a deal before it's absolutely necessary. We thank you for your patience in this area. Well, no way to even argue, which means even though I don't really want to leave, I am now going to apply for the Scunthorpe job, I think. Which I don't even really want, but Scunthorpe, geographically reasonably close by. They finished 17th in the league. They're full-time, I think. They've got a proper grown-up ground already. They're a full-time professional club. They're going to have much more money to spend on players and stuff. They're going to have proper training facilities. I mean, look at that. They've got a wage bill of £26,000 per week. We've just been given £9,500. I really don't want this job. If I'm not going to get a new contract at Sports, I don't have much choice. We're going to apply for that job. And then what else is there? I don't really want a team at a lower level. So we're not going to look at Boston and Dorking who've just been relegated. Likewise, Alfreton, who are already at the lower level. And I don't think I'm getting a League One job. So at the moment, Scunthorpe is the only viable option. Unless, I mean, we're probably not going to go further than, yeah, I've put Scotland on. I'm not going to be looking to go to Brazil or Argentina or anything like that. None of these other countries have got jobs available anyway. I don't think I'm at the stage of my career where I'd want to move abroad. Scotland would be a possibility, but there's no jobs available in Scotland currently. So I don't know why all these Italian ones have stayed on there. I've just turned Italy off. I've broken the filters, apparently. Okay, we've applied for Scunthorpe. Let's see what happens. This could be heartbreaking. Well, we're now on the 18th of May. Still no new contract from Sports. Still no contact from Scunthorpe. A couple of other jobs have become available, though. Gillingham, who've just finished bottom of League Two and been relegated. I think we apply for Gillingham. I think that's a no-brainer. And actually, we've done quite well the last couple of years. Let's try Port Vale, who've just finished 11th in League Two. It is a bit of a leap going from not getting promoted to like jumping up a division and staying in the higher division. And they are struggling for wages as well. Their wage bill is actually the same size as Scunthorpe's, who finished a division below them. But we're going to apply for that one as well. I don't know that I want to jump into another club with poor finances, but we'll chat with them. But we now have 3 job applications in. I am still in this situation, I think, where if Sports come back and offer me something sensible, I do accept. I don't really want to leave, but I've got to keep my options open. I've got bills to pay, you know, cost of living crisis and all that. Our new players are in, by the way. These are the youngsters that we agreed to bring in earlier in the season. So this is always quite exciting. Let's have a quick look through these. Tyrese Sonupe is an 18-year-old English right back, 3 stars of current ability, 4 stars of potential. Bearing in mind, this is the guy who my coaches said was going to be a future Premier League player, who now only warrants 4 stars of potential. This is how good the staff I'm working with are. He's a National League standard player who could improve slightly. Not quite Premier League then. We've got Levi Prosser Wilkinson. Oh my word. 2-star, 3-star. Ethan McDonald, 3 stars and 4 stars. A lot of these aren't going to go straight into the first team. Luckily, they are youngsters who are coming in on these breakthrough prospect contracts on not very much money. So it doesn't really matter. They're just extra bodies to have around the place. Michael Canton is another one who we haven't particularly done well at in the lottery. Looks like this one might be quite good. Jonathan Keane, we've got a good in here. Look at that value. He's got him straight away. 3.5 stars, 4.5 stars. Looks like he thinks he's a left back at 6'1". I think he's probably a centre back, but he's got some decent potential. He came in from Arsenal. Looks like the pick of the bunch so far. Richard Williams is another one with decent potential, but he's a winger, so he doesn't really fit into our system. And then Owen Smith is a central midfielder with decent-ish potential. And Jamie Cooper-Dunn is a bit of a disappointment. Bless his cotton socks. So we've got a few in. A few of them are half decent. Most of them are a little bit meh. But you know what? That's the price you pay when you do the youngster gamble. You bring them in, you trust your staff, but your staff are no good. These players are being judged by staff with judging player potential of like 6 out of 20, which means they could have been wrong when the players first came in on trial. Equally, they could be wrong now. We're not really going to know who's any good or not until they start playing for us. If I'm still here, we shall see, I guess. There's your confirmation that this is our record highest finish. We've had offers come in for Connor Johnson. Yes, we're going to let him go. He's been out on loan all year anyway. We didn't win Player of the Year. I'll just vote for the lowest win ratio guy for Manager of the Year to give me a better chance of winning it. Yes, I'm that much of a monster. I care about that Manager of the Year award. And now we just wait. It's very difficult to go any further with my planning for this club for next season until I know I'm at this club next season. So, I mean, realistically, we'd probably wait until the 1st of July anyway. We've not got a huge amount of spensies, though, have we? In this situation, this club is in a mess. And for once, it's not even my fault. I've been so far under the budgets every season, but we don't have the fan base. It's such a small club. They are not cut out for being at this level. So we'll see what happens, I guess. We're waiting for contract offers from 4 clubs, one of which is Peterborough Sports. Whoever offers me a long-term deal first is probably going to get me, because I want a contract. I want to be able to pay my bills. And much to the relief of kind of me, and I imagine a lot of you, Peterborough Sports are the first to come in and offer me a contract, just to show that I'm not being a rascal. I'm not messing around. We have applied for the 3 of these. We haven't had an interview at any of them. Now, the interesting situation we're in now is because we were forced into applying, if they come back and offer an interview, even after I've signed this contract with Sports, I'm probably still going to go. And it doesn't necessarily guarantee that I stick around, but obviously I'm going to sign this contract because it's 2 more years of security. It's the same contract I'm on at the moment, £750 a week. Can carry on living in my same house, continue this project that we've started here. I will obviously try and push for a little bit of a pay rise because, you know, got bills to pay and all that. Oh, we've got 825. We took a little pay rise as well. Beautiful stuff. I am now tied down for a new 2-year contract at Peterborough Sports. I'm interested. Does that automatically withdraw me from these other jobs? It doesn't. So there is still the possibility that I leave because those applications are now in. I am now officially no longer looking. But, you know, the applications are in. Doesn't hurt to see what's out there, does it? Oh, despite me signing a new contract, it seems not everybody is as keen to stick around here at Peterborough Sports. And Jamie Sewell and Aaron Donnelly, both out of contract at the end of this season. So now, in this next month, both out of contract, no interest in signing new deals. So it looks like Jamie Sewell and Aaron Donnelly are going to be moving on, which is a bit of a blow. They were both first-team regulars. I don't know how I've let that happen, really. Kind of assumed we'd just be able to extend at the end of the year, and now they don't want to because guess what, everybody? The failed promises, the whole not improving the training facilities thing, which is going to bite us again next summer and the summer after. Please, can we have a takeover? I really want it. We're just going to have to release those guys. And it's more money in the rebuild kitty, I guess. He absolutely doesn't need a contract. He is 2 stars of potential. And then, yeah, we'll release all of these as well. It does mean our first name in the game player is getting released, Glenn Patrick. You are being released, I'm afraid. We will try and check in on you for the rest of your career. But if you do end up retiring, I mean, you get a re-roll. Lovely old stuff. But we are going to have about £1,500 to play with. We'll add a little bit more in when we move this scouting budget over. At the moment, we are doing some scouting. Once we get into early July, our scouting is done effectively, and we'll move scouting budget over into transfer budget, then over into wage budget, as per my transfers video that I did a couple of weeks ago. If you want to see more on that video, I'll link it below. But yeah, we're not going to have a huge amount of money to spend on new players, but we do have the basis of a decent squad. And hopefully, once we get to 1st of July, we need a couple of strikers. That's glaringly obvious. We saw that in the playoffs yesterday. We need a couple of goal scorers. So fingers crossed that is what we come up with. And as I suspected, because of the new contract I've signed with Sports, my compensation is now too high. So no one else is going to give me a job. Scunthorpe the first to tell me I'm unsuccessful. I do have the option to request the board reduce my compensation demands. I'm not going to do it. I'm happy here at Sports. I've just signed a new 2-year contract 2 weeks ago. We're sticking around unless someone wants to come in and buy me out of my contract as is. I've got to be fair to Sports. They've been fair to me. I'll be fair back to them. If I leave, the club are getting full compensation for me, or I don't go. I might change my mind later on. But for now, my mind is made up. Well, this is interesting and a little unexpected. Gillingham have withdrawn as well, as you would expect. But Port Vale actually have offered me an interview. Despite offering the interview, they do have slight reservations about my suitability to deliver the club's ambitious vision for the future. This is mainly as a result of my complete lack of experience in guiding teams away from relegation. I mean, literally, we were supposed to be in a relegation battle this season and we got in the playoffs. So not really having that, but I will attend the interview, see what they've got to say. It's a snazzy shirt, isn't it? I quite like that. I could see that on my office wall. Yes, I do loyalty. Why would I want to leave my current job after doing so much good work there? I want to make the next step in my career. Quite a change if I were to leave my current job to come here. Am I confident of handling such a big jump? Yes, I am. I've been alleged to have broken promises to my players before. Is there anything you have to say about that? I've only done what I thought was the right thing at the time. Our last manager didn't get on well with the fans. Would I be able to fare better? Of course. Yes, I'm comfortable working on a limited budget. That's what I'm doing at the moment. As part of the recruitment process, we're willing to... Yes, I want to make some changes. I want to bring Michael Gash with me. A small budget should be enough for Gashy. Yes, we can develop the club's young players, play attacking football. These all seem right up my street. Build a new stadium here as well, and they want to reach the playoffs in my first season. Yeah, that looks doable. No further requests. I guess we'll see what happens. I might end up at Port Vale despite just signing a new contract with Peterborough Sports, which would be interesting. I'm known for my wing play approach. We play a diamond. Fair enough. The main distinctive feature of Kevin Chapman's wing play system is exploiting space in behind the fence. I mean, that's fair, I guess. Am I the favourite for this job now? No. Johnny Jackson still is. So, I guess we wait and see. I might end up at Port Vale yet. I'm not going to talk to any media about it. We'll just see what happens. Oh, my word. It might actually be happening. Port Vale have asked me to suggest any changes I'd want to make. Well, the big change is obviously Michael Gash comes with me. I'm not quite sure how you do this. So, Michael Gash has confirmed that a recently signed new deal is... Oh, he doesn't want to come. Michael Gash doesn't want to come with me. Well, that's hard. I mean, I've just signed a new contract. It's not going to stop me. I guess we don't need to make any changes then. We continue to wait and see. Am I actually going to Port Vale? I did not expect this to be happening at the start of this video. I'm a little bit alarmed. Where on earth in the country is Port Vale? That doesn't even sound like a place. And here is the offer. But we have an interesting twist because they've offered me less money than I'm currently earning at Peterborough Sports and only a 1-year contract rather than a 2-year contract. So although this is a step up into League Two, it is absolutely not a foregone conclusion. I'm going to accept this job. To remind you, my contract that I'm on at Peterborough Sports, they've got to do better than this. It's not even enough to match this. I'm on a 2-year deal on £825 a week. I'm not turning down a 2-year. I'm not tearing up a 2-year contract for a 1-year contract on less money. So they're going to have to, we're going to lock that in. It has to be a 2-year deal. And we're going to open the negotiations at 900. 575. 875. 575. 850 locked in. And they've withdrawn. Well, there we go. Not going to Port Vale. I cannot believe how little they were willing to offer me, but I stay at Sports because I'm a mercenary and they're giving me more money. Apparently, we now live in a world where £7,000 is an offer too good to turn down. So it seems Max McKnight is leaving. I'm going to try and renegotiate the contract. We can get more for him. We need the money. I mean, it's less than a week's salary budget. I could resign over it. I'm probably not going to resign, but Max McKnight is leaving for next to nothing. That is it's annoying. That's for sure. We just set his value at 45,000. Now, apparently, the board are saying, nah, 14K. Yeah, you'll be a league. I mean, Bristol Rovers, they're in League One. And they're getting a player for an absolute bargain. What's the point of setting these? I mean, they're just going to attract whatever. They're just going to sell for whatever they want to sell for. I didn't get a vote, apparently. Oh, rubbish. So there is your confirmation that notable first teamers and a notable former first teamer, Jamie Sewell, Connor Johnson, Aaron Donnelly, have all left the club at the end of their contracts. Saul and Donnelly didn't want to discuss new contracts. Johnson, as good as he was in the division below, we never used him last year. He was out on loan at Barrow all year. They didn't use him either. So those three have gone. A bunch of the young players have gone as well. We have a lot of players who are out of contract at the end of this coming season. I don't think we need to rush to give lots of them new contracts. In fact, financial position is not strong enough for most. I will give Kwanzaa a new one, though, because he's great. We have got Okoronkwo tied down to a new contract as well, but let's just try and sort out Jarrell Kwanzaa with a new contract while we're all here. So he's earning 160 a week at the moment. He doesn't need that. We're not going to pay his agent anything. Loyalty bonuses, I don't mind, but we are going to try and pay him a little bit less than he wants because it's a pay rise either way, and we're not really in the business of pay rises. Just don't tell him that I got one. Come on, 250. 250 is fine. Okay, 275. That's fine. But no one else for now is going to get one while we wait for this FA Cup run that we absolutely need to have this season. Roberts has gone back to his parent club. We have accepted a couple more offers for McKnight from championship clubs now that now involve potential loan backs. So we might be getting McKnight back on loan for next season. If we just clear this squad, this is what we're left with going into the 1st of July, a 22-man squad, but some of these for sure aren't going to be here, like Griffiths. McKnight will probably be in on loan, and the likes of Onyeka. Onyeka's still got one more year left on his deal. I find that baffling. How long a deal did I give that boy? And there's going to be some of these we look to move on, but we've got about £1,500 to spend. But what we are going to do is the good old-fashioned, we don't need no scouting budget, put it all over into transfer budget, and then from there, whack it all into wage budget, which just shuffling a little bit around in the accounting means we've now got about £2,000 a week to spend on incoming players. The maximum we're paying on a player at the moment is $450. The average salary is probably $275, $300. So we could potentially bring in 7 or 8 players. We don't need 7 or 8. We've got a 22-man squad as it is, plus some more of those youngsters that we brought in who are on the cusp of being ready for the first team. But there's business to be done. So it is the 1st of July. It's free transfer o'clock. Let's see what we can bring in. We want some more Okoronkwo level superstars. Well, we're having to be very particular about what we bring in because we've got so little in the way of money. So we've not done a lot of business so far. Max McKnight has gone to Reading and immediately been loaned back. We are in a situation, though, where we don't get to keep any of that money. It just all goes straight into the problem. And then we've signed a couple of players. I wanted more than one striker. We still will bring in another striker. But for now, Modu Vale, who I think has been a player in a previous series, back when he was researched as Modu Fall, unless it's a different guy. But 6'4", massive guy, just a big 6'4" guy to hit the ball at. We need something a little bit different up front. Him alongside Onyeka, not Onyeka, Okoronkwo. Onyeka's leaving. Should be great, and especially when you look at how many goals he's scored the last few years for Kings Lynn. 21 last year in the National League North, one of the top scorers in that division, coming in on a free transfer. That's exactly the kind of player we should be bringing in. And we've also got a new goalkeeper. Christian Hegyi is a Hungarian former under-21 international who has played a couple of times in the Premier League for West Ham. He's in on a free transfer. We've managed to get him in as a backup. I actually think he'll probably be our first choice. He's another big boy, another 6'4" player. We're going for a certain type this summer so far, the big boys, but that's all we've got in at the moment. But actually, with the youngsters we brought in earlier in the summer, the squad is looking pretty good. We've got 2 good goalkeepers. Don't think we need to do very much there. 3 options at left back in Stewart and Morris, who were here last year, and Jonathan Keane, who probably is going to play centre back, but apparently is better at playing full back. So he's definitely an option. At right back, we've got Sanupe, who's just come in this summer, Leeson, who of course was here last year, and Max McKnight, who's in on loan for the season from Reading now. At centre back, we've got new boy Keane, new boy McDonald, and then the 4 who were here last year, Bennett and Kwanzaa, who are definitely good enough in their own right, and Stewart and Leeson, who can both play centre back as well as being fullback. They're kind of covers in both positions. I don't think we need anyone in the defence or in goal now. I think that is fine. We don't need to touch that. At defensive midfield, we could probably do with one. It's the similar situation to what we had last year. I am looking to get rid of, what's his face? I can't remember his name. Jack Evans. He's under offer from Wrexham and Wimbledon. So with Evans and Payne hopefully leaving the club, or if they don't leave, we'll just stick them out the way in the reserves. That means that we've got these options as defensive midfield, and we definitely need one more here. Ethan McDonald, though, can play there, although really he's a centre-back, so probably rule him out. But new boy Michael Canton can play there or central midfield and has lots of potential. He's already wanted by someone. Who already wants him? Okay, clubs want him on loan. He's not leaving on loan. Cisse, obviously, we know can play there, and another youngster in the shape of Owen Smith can play there as well. Central midfield, again, I think we're very well covered. We've got Canton, Smith, another youngster in Cooper Dunn. All of these guys came in the summer. Plus Levy, Cisse and Hinchy are already here. Plenty of cover in there. And then as attacking midfielders, we've got Flynn Clark, one of our key players. Canton and Cooper Dunn can both play. We could probably do with one more in here, or maybe even bring Jack Payne back into the fold, but we've upset Jack Payne by trying to mutually terminate his contract. So maybe not. And then up front, Onyeka, we've accepted an offer for. So at the moment, we have Okoronkwo and Vale as our starters. Flynn Clark can play there, but we need two more strikers. So what we're really looking at, a defensive midfielder, an attacking midfielder, two strikers, and we've got about £1,500 to do it. We're going back in, more trialists, hopefully get those boys in and get these ones out the door that we're trying to get rid of as well, in the interest of balancing the books. So another week has passed. A few more transfers have come in, 3 to be precise. Harrison Thompson is a 19-year-old young striker with 3 stars of current ability, 5 stars of potential. He was previously of Norwich, had a loan in the Netherlands last year and didn't score a single goal. I wonder if he made it back a little bit quicker than I did on my way back from TwitchCon. Mackenzie Hunt is an attacking midfielder, 23 years old. He is via Everton, and Omar Taylor-Clark is a 21-year-old Welsh centre mid / defensive midfield player who joins us from Bristol City, having had a loan at Dover Athletic. We're still a striker short. I have decided to reintegrate Jack Payne back within the squad. Probably shouldn't have offered him the contract termination, but fingers crossed he'll get over it. I've just not been able to find anyone any better, and I think I was only trying to move him on because he's 30. We should probably take him off the unwanted list. But actually, he was pretty useful last year. 7 goal contributions in 17 matches is handy. Working with Clark and Hunt, we've got 3 fairly interchangeable attacking midfielders there, so I think that's probably fine. Like we've said before, every other position is very well covered, apart from striker, where if we take Clark off the list, we still only have 3. We've still got some money to spend. We can go out and spend good. We could spend £1,000 a week on a striker. Not that the board would let us, but we still need another striker. Of course, we haven't explored loans yet either. So there's areas where we'd probably bring in a loan DM, for example, where we don't have anyone really outstanding. But we'll see what loans are available. But first, we continue searching for one more striker. Well, I still haven't been able to find a striker, but because I can't possibly leave money in the budget, I have signed 3 new centre-backs that I'm not sure we needed. Jason Straha was here on loan last year, though, and he was great. So he was the first one. He was a no-brainer. He was available. We've brought him in. He's in. But then David Okagbu, who, I mean, his name does seem familiar. I think I've had him in a save at some point. It's not this one. I saw he played for a club called St. Kevin's, and I cannot resist a player who's played for a club that was named after me. So he's in as well. And then Jay McGrath looks better than the 2 we'd already signed. So we brought him in as well. He's formerly of Coventry, and Mikolova amongst his other clubs. It doesn't mean we're completely overloaded with centre-backs. Yes, we've got a few. But what I've done is Leeson, where is he? Stewart and Leeson, who were on the centre-backs list. I've just moved them completely to the full-back list. And the young 18-year-old who has only 2.5-star current ability, I've moved him down to the under-20, the under-18s, offered him out for loans. So we've actually only got 6 centre-backs, one of which, Keane, is probably better at left-back, possibly better at left-back. So he might be playing left-back. So that brings us down to 5. I think 5 is okay. I don't think that's excessive. This is how I'm justifying it to myself. There's always the chance one of them will leave. We're pretty well stocked everywhere, apart from up front, where we do still need another striker, especially because Okoronkwo He's now injured and will miss the start of the season. So at the moment, we only have Vale and Thompson as our 2 potential starting strikers. We do, unless he's snuck out of the club and I didn't notice, still have Tom Nichols banished to the under-18 squad. So I guess we need to bring him back into the first team squad because we're probably going to need him. Where is he? Tom Nichols. Get him back in the first team squad for now. It pains me to do that, but we need bodies. It's why we signed him in the first place, because we needed bodies. We've got a very large squad, haven't we? We probably do need to get rid of some of these. How many are in this squad? We have a squad of 29 players, which feels like it's too many. Lots of them are wanted, though. We might let some of these youngsters who we brought in the summer go out on loan or move them down to the under-18s, like Michael Canton, for example. Is he going to play? He might play. If he doesn't, he can go out on loan. That's the case with several of these 18-year-olds. We need a striker. Well, Tom Nichols continues to prove that he is a complete waste of space. No sooner do I bring him back into the first team squad than he strains his groin and misses the first month of the season. Okoronkwo is also not going to be fit for the start of the season. It is new season day today, and we haven't been able to bring in a striker. We're starting the season with at least 1 striker short in this squad. We have made some effort to reduce the ridiculously oversized squad, though, loaning out some of these youngsters. So Ethan McDonald has gone to Barnet. All of these are 100% salary paid as well, so they're actually quite sensible deals. Omar Taylor-Clark has gone to Dumbarton. Owen Smith to Kings Lynn, and Jamie Cooper-Dunn has gone to Guiseley. It thins the midfield out a little bit and the centre-backs, and means that we do now have a little bit of money to spend again, about £750 a week when the right striker presents himself. We still haven't looked at loans. I find that one of the best times to do loans is deadline day or just before deadline day, because the players that previously clubs weren't willing to let come to you, suddenly, because no one else has got them, you might get those better players. So we're kind of holding fire on that for now. It does mean we're going to be a little bit lightweight up front at the start of the season. We've got 2 debuts in Modu Vale and Thompson, whatever his first name is, Harrison Thompson. But Okoronkwo will be back soon. Flynn Clark can obviously play up there, and we'll be fine. Otherwise, it's a pretty strong, pretty familiar team that's going to be starting the season, just strengthening in a few key areas with new boys. So Keane, Sanupe, Canton, Hunt, and of course, the 2 new boys in up front. But that will be for the next episode. For now, we will wrap that up for there. I mean, that's been a roller coaster. For a moment there, I thought I was leaving. Now we're still here and we haven't signed enough strikers. This is like the reverse of every transfer video I've ever done in the past ever. But if you have enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching. Also, let me know in the comments, would you have gone to Port Vale? It was definitely the right decision to not go to Port Vale.